Hey guys, welcome back to another How to Code a Spigot plugin for 1.15 series. In this episode, we'll be going over GUIs finally. And the GUI specifically that we're going over is this change team GUI. So it's going to look a little bit like this. So when someone types in change team, they'll get this menu up here with all these different walls. And it says all these different teams. Blue team, red team, orange team, lime team, aqua team. So when you click on this, say red team, says you change your team, and to close the GUI, we have this little button here that says close menu. And you'll see I changed my team. I changed my leather armor to red. Now this specific feature or this plugin is really intended for like if you have a mini game and you want to change the team real quick inside the mini game, you can go ahead and do that. So we're going to go a little bit over GUIs, and we're also going to go over leather armor. Leather armor is a bit different than normal items. It's not item meta, it's going to be its own type of meta. So without further ado, we can go right over it. All right. In the Package Explorer, let's right click. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's right click our Package Explorer, go to New, Java Project. This project, let's go ahead and name it Change Team. I'm going to press next, and I'm going to go ahead and add the Spigot jar to the libraries tab through add external jars. We're using Spigot 1.15.1 in this episode. I'm going to hit finish. Go ahead and open up that project we just made. Click on the SRC and then create your first package. If you don't have a website, it's going to be me.yourname. The name of the project. Go ahead, right click on that package, create the first class, which is our main class. Inside the main class, you'll have to do the famous three things. Extends Java plugin. Go ahead, Control-Shift-O, Command-Shift-O if you're on Mac to automatically import that. In the last episode, I went over this little shortcut that I made up to automatically import all this stuff right here. And that's because I'm lazy. I don't feel like typing up those three methods. Zoom in for you guys. Alright, now that we have these methods done, let's go ahead and real quick and create the command, the change team command. And to do this, we're to say if the label dot equals ignore case change team. Then we want to say, well, first we want to do, make sure that the sender is a player, of course. We do this like with every single plugin. So if the sender is instance of player, return true. And we'll send them a message saying sender dot send message. You cannot do this. Control-Shift-O and automatically import player. And you should be used to this for now. For like past few episodes I've been doing this. I've been saying if the sender is not an instance of player, does not, go ahead and kick them out. Now that we know that the sender is a player, we can go ahead and create that player. Once we have that player created, all we want to do is open the GUI. And to do so, we need to create the GUI. So this GUI is going to be global, meaning I'm going to have a GUI that is created on the onEnable. Oh. Okay. Guess Mojang's down. I'm going to have a GUI that's created on the onEnable, and that just everyone who runs this command can just open it right away and then click what they want. So to do this, I'm going to go up here to above the onEnable, and I'm going to type in public inventory inv. Go ahead and import inventory. And now we'll create another method. And this method is just going to be where we create the inventory. We add in all the blocks and stuff that we want it to look like. So I'm going to type in public void. And I'm going to name it create inv. We don't need any parameters in here, but it's just Could be a basic kind of inventory. But it's going to be a little repetitive because we are adding in like 7 different teams, I guess. The first thing we want to do is set inv equal to a new inventory. So this inv right here, we created up here, but inventory inv. Whoops. So inv equals bucket dot create inventory. And you're going to pass in a few things here. This is the first slot right here. This first parameter is an owner. So you could set an owner to a certain player so only they can open it. But we're going to set null. We don't need an owner. The size. These sizes are in, what should I say here? Sizes are within 9s. So 9, 27, 34, I think. You can only go in increments of 9. You cannot do a GUI size 5. It can only be 9s. And then the next parameter will be the name of the GUI. So the name of the GUI, change team, or you select team. And you can do color codes here. So I will say chat color dot gold plus, I'm gonna make it bold. Chat color dot bold. All right, right there. And that's how you create inventory every single time. You set the inventory equal to a bucket.create inventory. The first slot's the owner. The second slot right here, second slot here is the size of the GUI. You can go up to 54, and 54 is a double chest. And then right here will be the name of the GUI, the title of the GUI. Once you have that created, let's go ahead and create the items. We went over items last time, or past few times actually, so we should be used to it. We're going to create a new item stack, and this item stack's have a material dot, let's do blue concrete. Go ahead and import item stack, and you're importing not the one that you're running the version on, but the normal bucket.inventory.item stack. All right. Once you have that imported, let's go ahead and create the item meta equals item.get item meta. Go ahead and import item meta. And now we can start creating the actual items in the GUI. The first item will be the blue team item. And to do this, I'm going to say meta.set display name, chat color, and we'll do dark blue. And we'll say blue team. Next, I'm going to create some lore for this. So I'm going to say list. This will be a list of strings. Lore is going to equal a new array list of strings. Go ahead and import all that, and it's be the java.util list. Then I'm going to say lore.add chat color.gray click to join team. And then finally, we'll do meta.set lore. We're going to set the lore we just created, and then we got to do item.set item meta to meta. And then finally, we can set the position of this item that we just created in the GUI. And to this, we're going to do inv dot, not add item, but set item. So if you see add item right here, this first one allows you to add an item to the GUI, but the set item allows you add the item to a position in the GUI. And the GUI is array based, meaning the first slot in a GUI is 0, and the second slot is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then slot 9 will actually be the second row down, the first slot. Let's see if Minecraft's working yet. Okay, we'll restart Minecraft, and maybe I'll show you guys in a second. So like I said, it is array based, so The first slot is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. It's really important to know when coding, if you have a config file, which we'll go over later, if you want to say, hey, where do you want to put this item? And they put 5 in the config file, a lot of people just think that's going to be slot 5 and not slot 4. So you will have to work around that. Just note that it all starts at 0. Next, we can create the next team, which will be, we'll do the red team. And we say, we're just going to keep using the same exact item and meta. We don't need to create another new item or anything. We just keep going off of it and just change the name and stuff. So we'll do item dot set type, set type, and the type will be red, material dot red concrete. And then we just need to change the name of it. Meta dot set display name. Check color. We'll do dark red. Red team. And then I'm going to say item dot set item meta to meta. And then we'll set the position inv dot set item, and we'll set position 1 item. And if you see, I did not change the lore because I'm going to keep the lore the same. It's going to be click to join team every single time. So this meta right here, this set lore, is going to be consistent throughout the entire meta data type. So we don't have to worry about it. We're just changing the name here and the type, the block type. And we can just go ahead and copy this. And you're going to need to do this 7 times, I believe. Oh, let me recopy that. You're going to need to do this 7 times because there's 7 different slots that we need to fill in the GUI. Yep, Mojang is down right now. Okay, nice. All right, next team we'll do is we'll do green team. Green team, and then we'll say we'll do lime concrete. Let's be a lime team. The position is gonna be 2. As you see, it's gonna be a lot of copy and pasting right here. Just editing what team it's gonna be, and there is probably a better way to do this. I probably could run this through a loop if I wanted to, but for some simplicity, we're just gonna do it this way real quick. Change this to orange team. Oh, I should probably change the color. Check color dot green. And then orange, we'll just do gold. Next team we can do is purple. This is going to be, well, not light, dark. Purple concrete. There it is. This is going to be dark. All right, 2 more teams. Scion. We already did blue concrete, right? Oh, there's cyan concrete. Awesome. And then we say blue. Do I say dark blue up here? Yep, nice. Cyan, and then the last team, last but not least, let's just do black. make this black concrete. And I personally don't like the black color code, so I just use dark gray. The black color code is a little too black and you just can't really see it well. Oh, and we forgot to change the positions. Alright. And we are done with, almost done with the inventory here. So I made, from position 0 to 6, I made 6 different teams. Or 5 different teams, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different teams. 7 different teams. And this is only going to be from the first slot in the GUI to the 7th slot in the GUI. The 8th slot is going to be empty, but the 9th slot, which is technically the 8th, is going to be the back button, the close button. So to create the close button, we're just going to say item.setType, and I did the barrier block. You can do whatever block you want. I think the barrier block looks pretty cool. I'm going to say meta.setDisplayName, display name, check color.red. I'm going to say close menu, and I'm going to go ahead and make this bold. And then I'm going to do lore.clear, because I don't want this block to have lore, and the lore is consistent through all these items because they're all the same item technically. So I'm going to do lore.clear, and then I'm going to do meta.set lore. Set lore to lore now that it's cleared. And then we'll finally do item.set item meta to meta. Inv.set item at position 8, which is the last slot in a 9-slot GUI item. Alright, boom. We are done with the GUI. So this right here, we'll go ahead and whenever we, in the on enable, we can type in create inv, which is just the name of our menu, method right here. So when we type in create inv, it's going to go through when it's server starting up. It's going to go through this. It's going to create the inventory, and it's going to go ahead and create the all the blocks in it. And it's a public inventory, so it's going to be the same inventory every single time. So we don't have to worry about creating new ones for each player. Every single player that opens up, it creates a new inventory. We can go ahead and just create one inventory and then just open up that inventory whenever a player wants to open that up. All right. Now we need to do the listener. We've been doing listeners the past 2 episodes, so you should know what to do. The first thing, of course, is implements listener at the top. Go ahead and import that. On the on enable, you're going to need to type in this.get server .get plugin manager .register events, not event, events. And we're going to type in this because I'm going to keep everything in this main class here. And once you have the listener inside and this on the on enable, let's scroll all the way. Actually, we'll just space this down a little bit. We don't need to look at that ever again. And we're going to create the @event handler. Public void, and we'll call this on click. And the event that we will be using is the inventory click event. And we'll name it event. Go ahead and import both of those. And now this event will be called every single time someone clicks on an inventory. It doesn't matter if they're inside their own inventory in a chest. A chest is an inventory. Any single inventory, the villager trading, the crafting table, this event will be called. So we have to make sure they are clicking on our inventory and not nothing else. So we're going to say if, and we'll put a exclamation point here, event.getInventory .equals, and then inv. And then we'll say return. So what this if statement does right here says if the event.getInventory, so if the inventory equals our inventory, we want to go through. So we're going to say if inventory does not equal our inventory, go ahead and just kick them out, and we don't have to worry about them. The next thing I'm going to do is the famous 3 things I call for inventory click events. And it's basically just checking if the item is null, or if the item has meta, or if the item has a display name. Because typically when you're creating an inventory, you're going to set all these different things. So you're going to give it meta, and you're going to give it a display name. So what we want to say is if the event .getCurrentItem equals null, we don't want to do anything. So this is when they're like clicking on an empty slot. When they're clicking on an empty slot, you don't really want to do anything here. So we're going to set it to null. We're going to say if event .getCurrentItem .getItemMeta equals null. We're going to do the same thing here and return. And that's because if the item does not have meta, which means it's like a basic block, like if say they opened up our inventory, and in their inventory they have a piece of dirt and they're trying to click on it, we want to return it and not do anything with it because it doesn't have any meta. And then finally, event .getCurrentItem .getItemMeta .getDisplayName equals null. Return, same reason. If it doesn't have a display name, we don't want to do anything with it. Now that we know that they are inside our GUI, inside our inventory, we can go ahead and do event.setCanceled and put that to true. Similarly, with the last episode when we did the event.setCanceled on the take damage event, it didn't give them any damage. This right here will set canceled, meaning they won't be able to affect the GUI. When they click on the item in the GUI, they won't grab it. It'll just be clicked. Next, we want to create the player. So player equals the cast of a player. And then we'll do event.getWhoClicked. All right. Now we just need to say what happens when they click on every single block. So what happens when they click on this blue concrete block? Well, this blue concrete block, since we created this GUI and everything, we know what slot this block is at. This block is at slot 0. So what we can say is if event.getSlot equals 0, we know this is the blue team. We know that's the blue team. So we can go ahead and change their team to blue. And to do this, I'm going to do item stack, and to be an array of item stacks. I'm going to call it armor. I'm going to set it equal to player.getEquipment.getArmorContents. And then before we move on, we need to change this armor. So to do this, I'm going to make another method. And this method is going to be called the changeTeam method. Change color method. Actually, I'll do that. So the change color. And for change color, we're going to need 2 things. We're going to need the item stack, the armor, we'll call it A, and we need the color. Go ahead and just return null for right now. And we're going to import this color. The import for color is an org.bucket one. And now we have that imported, we can go ahead and create the change effect, the color change effect on the leather armor. And to do this, it is a for loop. So I'm going to type in for item stack item :A. If you haven't seen this for loop before, what this for loop does is it creates an item. So this is an item stack. This is one item. And it's going to go through all the items in this item stack and set it equal to. So the first item in this item stack array is going to equal this item. So go through each item in the item stack array. And we're going to want to do if the item.getType equals material dot leather boots, or if the item dot get type equals material dot leather chest plate. And you can see where I'm going here with this. We have to do every single type of armor. Get type equals material dot leather. I say chest plate helmet, or if the item dot get type equals material dot leather helmet. What we're saying here is if they're wearing leather armor, we want to change their leather armor. And to do this, it is an item meta. And the item meta is not item meta. Perhaps it is leather armor meta. Equals leather armor meta, a cast to the item dot get item meta. Go ahead and import leather armor meta. We're going to do meta dot set color. And you see it's not chat color, it's a different kind of color. It's this color right here. And we're going to set the color just to color because we're going to pass in the color we want to change it to. Then we're going to do item dot set item meta to meta. And that is it. That is how you change leather armor to a different color. There's one thing we need to check for, and that is, what if they're not wearing leather armor? What if they're wearing diamond armor? What if they're wearing no armor? Well, go ahead and copy everything we just did, throw it into a try, and catch. And we don't want to do anything in there. So if we catch an error, who cares? Just don't show it in the console. All right. Now that we have this change color method done, we could finally finish the listener. And this listener is pretty copy and paste, kind of like the last thing we just did up down here. So after we have the armor in an array, we can go ahead and set armor equal to change color, pass in that armor array, and then the color we want to do is color dot blue, because the slot 0 is at the blue. Next, I'm going to do player.get equipment. And I'm going to do .set armor contents to armor. So we got the armor contents right here. We set it to this armor, and then we changed the color here. And now we're setting it again. We're going to reset this armor. Then finally, you can just go ahead and say player.send message chatcolor.gold. You changed your team. All right, just like what we did earlier, go ahead and just copy and paste this if statement. And we're going to do this 8 different times. Go through real quick. The first one, slot number 1 is going to be red team. So we're changing this color to .red, and we're moving up. Slot number 2 is going to be lime team. Just comment to lime team, and we can change this color from blue to lime. And I'm going to keep the same player message here because I don't really feel like changing it. It'll take a little longer. We're already poaching up on 29 minutes, 30 minutes. So slot number 3 after lime is going to be orange. Change this comment to orange, and change the color to orange. Next slot is 4. Slot 4 after orange is purple. So this is going to be the purple team. And the color is going to be purple. Slot 5. Slot 5 after purple is Scion. Scion team. Is there Scion? Let's do Aqua. Slot 6 is black. We made it to the last color. Awesome. Black. Then we change the color to black. Finally, this is going to be slot 8 because we skipped 7. And this is nothing to do with the team. This is to do with the GUI. And all we have to do is player.close inventory. After this if statement, go ahead and type in return true at the bottom. Oh, not return true. Sorry. Just return. It's not a boolean. It's void. And we are officially done. Make sure everything. Oh, right here. Sorry. Not return null. This is a return A. Because we want to return the item stack right here. Return A. All right. Everything looks pretty good. I don't think we're missing anything. Oh, we are missing something. The open GUI effect. So player.open inventory. And that inventory is going to be inv. Oh, not get. Oh. Player.open inventory. The inventory is inv. Then maybe we can do return true. So whenever a player types in change team, they'll open the inventory, and this inventory is created in our on enable. Once they open the inventory, they're going to go through this event right here. And whenever they click on slot 0, which is the blue team, they're going to change their color to blue. Let me go ahead and see if Minecraft is working for me. I'm going to go ahead and create the plugin.yml. So inside the SRC, not inside the package, right click on the SRC. Go to new, file. Type in plugin.yml. Inside the plugin.yml, we're going to need a main, and this main is going to be me.codedred.change team. The name of it will be change team. The version will be 1.0. The author is going to be yourself. And then the API version is going to be 1.13. The commands, 2 spaces, will be change team. Now I'm using the API version of 1.13 and not 1.14, 1.15 because really you should just use 1.13 if you're using basic blocks. And we're not using anything like specific to 1.15, so 1.13 is perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and export this to my server. I'm going to call this change team. Press enter. All right, so I'm going to reload my server. Oh. Oh, my bad. In the main, make sure to type .main after the package. Now we can go ahead. All right, now in the server, oh, that's weird. Now in the server, I type in change team. I can go ahead and click on the orange team, close my GUI. Leather pants, what's going on? Let's see. Oh, because we didn't have this to leather. Sorry, let me zoom out. Put 2 leather helmets in there. So let's change this to leather leggings. Now when I export it and reload my server, everything should work. Change team to lime. And you see I'm wearing lime armor. Awesome. There is one thing you're going to notice, and that's because when you're in this inventory, technically you're in this inventory as well. And you're going to notice when I click on this right here, we get this message, you change your team. But nothing's happening. Oh, I guess I did change to blue, because it is slot 0. So we can fix this real quick. The video is getting pretty long, so I'll just show you guys how you could fix this. And that is just saying if equals 0, and if the event dot get current item dot get type equals material dot whatever we set it to. It was blue concrete. So if the event dot slot equals 0, or the event dot get type is material equals blue concrete, then we know that they are clicking on not that trident. We know they're clicking on a blue concrete slot 1, which is this one right here. Alright. Well, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video for the spinning GUI. See you guys next time.